And welcome to the post-game Coach's Corner. I'm the Coach Dick Cox, joined by Coach Barry Tony. Well, Coach Tony, we knew coming down here that this was going to be a very interesting game. The Furman Paladins were coming to Williams-Brice Stadium. Furman defending Southern Conference champions, and I think they had about 18 starters back on their team this year and got a predominantly junior and senior football team against the South Carolina team that's still very young and trying to find their way. And for a little over a half, we saw a very interesting game.
That's right, Coach. It lasted about a half, didn't it? But the Gamecocks, they had two quick scores toward the end of the first half to kind of begin to run away with it.
And, you know, the thing it was, Furman, and congratulations, Furman didn't just come down here to get a paycheck. They came down here to play football tonight. And Furman was able to stop South Carolina, get the punt, and they were able, on the second play of the game, ran a double pass that caught South Carolina totally off guard and got the ball all the way down to about the 2-yard line. And it took them 4 tries, but they were able to get on the board first using some trickery there. And they were well prepared for their trip to Williams-Brice Stadium.
Hey, they were, and as Coach said in his post-game interview, he was very proud of the effort in which his team did, and also how well they competed.
South Carolina, after that, quickly came down, and Spencer Rattler is just playing lights out right now. I don't know another quarterback in the country that's playing better than him. Spencer Rattler, looking at his stats tonight, Rattler was 25 out of 27 throwing the football for 345 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he just ran the offense to perfection tonight in 2 games. Tonight he completed 93.7% of his passes, but is just having a phenomenal year. I know he doesn't have the big games, but you know, it's kind of funny. Darius Rucker said that he'd be in New York as one of the 3 finalists. Darius may know what he's talking about though. But South Carolina answered back and scored to tie the game up with Furman, and lo and behold, Furman puts together a good drive, running the football with good passing, and retook the lead again at 14-7.
And that's right there, Coach. And in regards to Rattler, like you mentioned, I like the way they got him more or less prepared in the game. You know, short passes, and then he really opened that thing up later in the game.
Again, the game was back and forth. After they took a 14-7 lead, South Carolina came back and tied the game to 14. But the turning point in the game was South Carolina scored 2 touchdowns in the last 43 seconds of the first half. And that included an 83-yard drive with no timeouts in the final 28 seconds of the half that really broke Furman's back, and they never recovered.
That's right there, Coach. You know, it was tied up, and then next thing you know, you look at the scoreboard, and the Gamecocks up 27-14 at half.
The running game was better this week, in that we saw the Carrion Joyner carried the ball tonight 11 times for 42 yards. Also, Anderson, the running back from Newberry College, had 6 carries for 33 yards, and true freshman Braswell had 21 yards rushing though. So South Carolina was able to rush the ball better this week after an awful week last week by the running game in Charlotte.
Hey, that's right, because you know, to be able to win consistently, you've got to be able to run that football and be able to pass well.
The Gamecocks, again, the big thing tonight was, and for anyone that saw the game tonight, you got to see the future of what South Carolina football is going to be all about. When the Gamecocks were able to take I think a 20-point lead in the third quarter, with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, then Shane Beamer unleashed some of these freshman players to the game right now. And again, we saw the star in the making with Lanaris Sellers at quarterback tonight, that he threw a 60-yard rope to a freshman receiver for a touchdown when the offensive coordinator, he had nothing but green grass in front of him. He could have picked up 30 yards. And Dal Loggins was saying to Coach Beamer on the headphone set, just run it. And he threw a dime right on the dot to his receiver for his first career touchdown.
That's right. He threw 2 touchdowns, and like you said, Coach, I believe he certainly has the future. And this was a good game in which Coach Beamer was able to, use young players and youth sellers too in the utmost way.
Another star in the making who have been just as good as Spencer Rattler here and early season performancing right now has been the play of Xavier Leggett. Again, that guy, he can catch anything. He's got Velcro for hands, but receiving tonight, Leggett called a touchdown pass, but he had 6 catches for 118 yards. Again, spectacular plays, but right now with Juice Wells not the #1 guy due to injuries, Leggett is having a season that I think is going to get him playing on Sunday afternoon.
You're right there, Coach. Hey, next man up mentality. And I know the offense did extremely well, but let's give kudos to the defensive aspect too in the second half for holding Furman scoreless.
Well, Furman got a late score because of a turnover. If our final score ended up being, it was by the score, let's see, what was our final score? It was 47-21, and that was one thing that Coach Beamer was not happy with, was they had not turned the ball over all season and then turned it over on a careless play in the last minute and a half of game with the some of the fourth-string players that he played everybody tonight, and they gave up a cheap touchdown at the end, though. But it was kind of a touching moment tonight, too, watching that Luke Doty has been a crowd favorite here for several years. He's had his ups and downs, having to go in his first freshman year and have to play and take his lumps for that season there. He's been in the battle that when Spencer Rattler came in, he moved back to second-string quarterback last year and has been doing anything the team needs him to do. He's the backup quarterback this year, but he caught his first touchdown pass for Rattler tonight in the second quarter when the Gamecocks were making their big move to take. It was actually the touchdown that put the Gamecocks ahead. So that gives him the dubious honor of having run a touchdown, thrown a touchdown, and caught a touchdown so far in the South Carolina
That's
career.
right there, Coach. And one of the reporters asked if he wanted to be a defensive back and maybe pick one off and take it to the house.
That would be about the only thing he hadn't done because he's played special teams.
Most certainly, yeah.
And I got a feeling he's going to catch a lot more touchdown passes here before his career's over. Another big was the big recruit, the crown jewel this year in the Gamecocks recruiting class was Nick Harbor, the 5-star athlete. And lo and behold, what we hope to see many a time here at Williams-Brice Stadium was Lanaris Sellers hooked up in the corner of the end zone with Nick Harbor, the 4-2 track star, and they got their first, hopefully, of many touchdowns to come also.
Hey, great overall team win tonight, Coach.
Good night tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium. Again, everybody got to play. A lot of the freshmen that we've heard so much about, we got to see them on the field. At one of the freshman defensive line, McLeod, intercepted a ball, but the Gamecocks were able to build a lot of confidence. Furman Paladins came in, and hopefully this will tune them up, and we wish them well. Hopefully this will propel them into winning the Southern Conference Championship again and advancing on in their playoffs.
Hey, that's right there, Coach. I don't believe they'll be playing anybody any tougher than what they played tonight.
And again, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They played the Gamecocks well, gave them more than the money they made to come down here and play for. They play with a lot of heart, but congratulations to both teams. I don't know who Furman plays next week, but I know the Gamecocks are going between the hedges, and hopefully they will be well prepared to go up to Athens.
I tell you what, Coach, these next 3 weeks are going to be very critical for the Gamecocks. They'll go down between the hedges, then they'll come back and they'll be playing like Mississippi State and Tennessee toward the end of the month.
So just a typical month
that's right,
in the season played in the SEC. Right. Reporting for Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting, he's Coach Tony. I'm Coach Cox. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Said it this week. They got a really good team, fantastic championship program. You guys saw that tonight. We knew it wasn't going to be easy and knew it was going to be a battle, and it was. So wish them well. Want to thank our fans. Man, had some recruits that I was meeting with before the game, and I told them, you know, a lot of places you go, you play a FCS opponent, you're not going to have a sold-out stadium that's going to be rocking like ours will be tonight, and it was. So thanks to the cockpit. I think it was a record number of sales, if I'm not mistaken, that they did. And then it was we didn't have a Gamecock walk. I apologize about that, but still a great reception when we got here to the stadium, and the fans were awesome tonight. So that's fantastic. Can't wait to see what they're going to be like when we got, you know, start of SEC play here in a couple weeks at home, and then even to stay there throughout the game. A lot of places when you go in at halftime up 2 scores, you'll come out for the second half, and half of them have already headed to the parking lots. But our fans are the best in the country. They stayed there and they were loud throughout as well. Certainly they were loud and rocking, and we did not expect to give up a double pass to start the game in 3 deep coverage. I had remnants of East Carolina 2 years ago, same play. So clearly we've got to coach that better early in a game, because that's twice now it's happened to us in 3 years. Proud of our guys. We knew Furman was a good team, was going to make some plays, and we had to respond, and our guys did, without a doubt. Thought the end of the half was huge. That'll go on like, you know, our situational football teach tapes going forward to get a touchdown by the offense, I believe, right before get a touchdown by the offense with 43 seconds left in the half. So we scored, 2 touchdowns in 43 seconds, basically. So, I mean, that is huge, guys, for us to score that touchdown, and then to force a 3 and out, be able to use our timeout, and then get the ball back and go down there and score essentially on the last play of the second half. I mean, also our first half, what a drive by Spencer, awareness of the clock, and a lot of times you watch games like that, quarterback's not aware, and the team runs out, you know, without getting to kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and we scored a touchdown there. So that was huge for us at the end of the first half. And then awesome night. Just told the team in there, when your quarterback goes 25 of 27 for 345 yards, you're going to win most football games. I don't care who you're playing. He's a special talent. He's an elite talent. Saw that tonight. There's not a quarterback in the country I'd rather have than that guy. Promise you that. And to be able to get so many of our young guys in there tonight, it was awesome. You know, just so happy for them. They worked their tails off. They caught that touchdown and came over and hugged me and said, "Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity." I'm like, dude, thank you for coming here. I should be thanking you for giving me the opportunity to coach you. But Lenoris, I mean, he was the excitement he had on that touchdown pass. It's really cool to see. We got some great young men in our program, and proud of them, and excited that they were able to get out there and have some success tonight. And then really disappointed with the way we finished the game. That's bull crap. You know, we haven't had a turnover all season, and we go in there and we turn the ball over, look bad doing it. We get a holding penalty on a naked. I don't know if I've seen that, where it's a naked boot. You're just running to the right and then booting to the left, and you get a holding penalty. That's hard to do. And then to give up a touchdown, we emptied the sideline. I mean, everybody, I think, played tonight for the most part, but still, when those guys go in, they're expected to perform, and disappointed with that. But a lot to build on, a lot to correct. We've got a lot that we have to improve before next week, but great win against a really, really good team. Those guys are going to win a lot of football games this year. I've got a ton of respect for Coach Hendricks and his program and the way they do things, and they play their butts off, and we saw that tonight. But great win for us.
You know, you want to start the game off getting the ball out, seeing what we can do on the perimeter. So I feel like we did a good job on the perimeter. Could have been cleaner with the blocking on the perimeter, but you know, we'll fix that. That's a key point of emphasis for us this week. But definitely love to stretch it down the field. You know, it's more fun.
For both of y'all getting to kind of watch and enjoy most of that third and fourth quarter, just what was it like to see some of those younger guys go out there and make plays that you celebrate with Nick and everything after his touchdown and all that?
The receivers, them boys was out there with me during the summer, so I knew they can do it. It's just the opportunity, and Coach put them in, and they did what they did.
For Xavier, Coach Beamer mentioned earlier that the clock going 21 miles an hour in the game against North Carolina, and then in practice you had consistent 20 mile per hour. I guess results, and he's talking about just the effort you've been giving in practice leading up to the season's last 2 games. So it's kind of like for you to see that pay off as well as it has so far.
I knew I could do it. I just had to put it on display. And that's all really I gotta say about it.
And David, last one.
Spencer, 2 touchdowns in 43 seconds to end the half. In situations like that, do you go to Shane and say, give me the ball back, I can do this? I mean, do they consult you by saying we're going to try to do this?
Yeah, he said we're going to use those timeouts if they threw the ball and made them punt. I think we had no timeouts actually, so we used them up. Credit to Coach Beamer, great coach in there. We knew we can get it down the field in that 30 seconds, 27 seconds. We had good play calls we dialed up, and it was good.
Thank you, guys. Last players tonight. I'm sure that somebody has a question. Emily?
Sorry. Lenora, Shane told us that your 50-yarder to touchdown was not the play call. Just kind of can you just take us through what you saw on that play and what kind of your reaction was like when you saw a touchdown make that catch?
My thought was to not force anything and just play the play out. And then I looked to the left and I didn't like well, first of all, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to stick to one side and that's it. But I felt like I had time, so I just came back to touchdown and it worked.
The 40 yards of green in front of you. Way the back.
All right, yeah, Lenore, just walking through 2 touchdown passes tonight. Just what did it feel like to be out there doing your thing, and describe the relationship that you've been able to build with Nick, and how great was it to connect with him on that last touchdown?
I felt good. Going out there, first home game, nerve-wracking a little bit, but I was excited. And then before I went in, they just told me to do what I was taught, just play the game, and I'm glad I connected with Nick and put in the work, the extra work, and finally came to tuition.
Luke, does it feel any different catching a touchdown versus throwing it?
It does, yes. It does. It brings a little bit more excitement, in my opinion, but it was awesome.
And I guess how comfortable are you, receiver, right now, just getting more and more reps for this goes?
I'm very comfortable with it. Like I said, I think earlier this week, it's just like riding a bike. You never really lose it. And like you said, the more reps I get at it, just better I'm gonna feel. More comfortable I'm gonna get. But it's all about next day getting better.
Let's go over the back, Matt.
Yeah, Lenoris, I don't know if you heard, but the second you took that first step on the field, it was a pretty loud reaction from the fans. Just for you as a local product guy, just how cool was that moment and how the opportunity to get your first reps kind of around the uniform?
It was very cool. I was here for the spring game, so I got a little taste of it, but just the full sold out crowd, it just felt good. I was like, got people to support me, so just go out there and play my game.
Sure.
Luke, you're one of the veterans on this team. Talk about how good it was just to see the freshmen like this one come in and have an impact and be successful in their first game here.
Well, when guys like Lenoris and Tyshawn Russell and a lot of those other guys get an opportunity to go out there and play and do what they did tonight, it makes everybody happy. Because like you said, we see them put in the extra work. Obviously, Lenoris came in early and from the moment he's been here, he just put his head down, he works, doesn't say much, just goes out on the field and plays ball. And we see that out of a lot of those guys. So once they get in, whether it be early in the game or late in the game, it's always great to see them out there. And, you feel good when they're out there because, they put in the work, they put the time in, and you can count on them for sure.
Go with the left.